Let's see.
I'm going to do it from the phone.
All right. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you. Appreciate everyone's patience. Again, we are joined by the one and only Kadian of Ready to Love Miami. Glad you could join us for a little bit here. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. So we always like to start with an icebreaker question just to kind of let the people know kind of who you are.
Okay.
So this is one gotta go. I'm gonna give you 4 things. One of them gotta go. In other words, if it's gone, as far as you're concerned, it no longer exists. You don't eat it. You don't do it. You don't do anything with it. Okay. All right. So we got the holidays coming up. We got mac and cheese, cornbread, collard greens, candied yams. One of those got to go.
I'm going to get rid of the mac and cheese.
Okay.
No mac and cheese?
No mac and cheese?
Because, okay, so none of those are my favorite, but they all kind of go. So I am more of a ham dressing rice girl.
Gotcha.
And like the candied yams with that sweetness with the ham and everything like that in a dressing. And then the greens just sometimes, and I'm not American, so I didn't grow up on that stuff either.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, island girl, huh?
I live like LJ, man.
How long did you live in Jamaica before you came over to the States?
So I came over, I migrated when I was a little girl, and then we went back and forth. And then by the time my dad came here, I was in 4th grade.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Cool. Good. Now, we always ask this question. Why Ready to Love? So
for me, it just happened by accident. One of my really close friends were on Put a Ring on It. And last year, November, when they were filming, I was in Atlanta while they were filming at her house. And she was actually babysitting my dog. He's right here and producing. I went and I did Stone Mountain, and I came and I been the block, and I see her outside, and I'm like, what is she doing? And I'm like, oh, she must be friendly with the neighbors, because I see someone else is outside and they're walking. They're chasing my dog. They let him.
No.
All she kept saying is, oh my God, your mom is going to kill me. And so that's how comes I met a couple producers that, happily be on this show as well. And they out to her and they asked her like, hey, what about your friend? Do you feel like she'll be interested? Da, 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 da. She wrote me and asked me, and I'm like, no. They contacted me, and I was like, I got to pray on that. And I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'll do it. I'm a business owner. People come on TV and start selling candles for $100. Why not?
Okay. Hey. Let's go. Okay, so now we do put a ring on it for reviews. Who is your friend? We got to know.
Jay and Fonzo.
Oh, okay. Actually, awesome. That was sweet. Okay, cool. Wow. So you decided to do this because producers loved you, right? And they were looking like, okay. And you're thinking, this could be a great opportunity. What kind of business? Shout out your business real quick.
So I have a boutique. I am couture. I also have like a beauty bar, which is a beauty bar. And then I have a restaurant, Sugarcane and Spices in the mall. All of them in Tallahassee, Florida.
Wow.
So
that is awesome. 12 years?
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, so now have you watched the show in the past? Because now they're coming up to you. No?
I didn't watch the show, and I'm going to be honest, like, I think I was naive. It was own network. A lot of things that I went into it also, I was going it from her perspective, but she did ring on it. So they weren't filming as much. So even then, I don't live in Miami, but I'm from Fort Lauderdale, but I travel a lot. So it wasn't, a big deal for me. And at the time, I had a place there. So I was like, okay, I could do this. This is, a good opportunity. And I was going back because she doesn't live in Atlanta as well. So I was going off of her schedule. Like they were flying air and everything. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be able to go back and forth for business. This is on network. This is not nothing crazy. So when I did hashtag it, as you know, it doesn't have its own page. So what kept coming up was like the blogger page. But of course, about all the other seasons. So I was watching clips here and there, and my mind didn't even tell me to go to YouTube really and truly. So that was all. And it's funny, Swayze and I actually watched the show, like some of the last season episode together as we were filming. That was the first time I've ever sat down and watched the episode.
Okay. Wow, okay. That is so you didn't know how it was going to become it.
No, so even in the beginning when they're like connection, I'm thinking Ready to Love, you meet one person, not I have to date multiple people.
They gave you a lot of chocolate to work with. You didn't know what was coming your way. Okay, so now you're in it and you're like, you find out there's going to be several singles. I'm assuming, obviously, there's no game plan because you didn't know. What I mean, was it overwhelming? Did you kind of like just catch on, or how did you start approaching it?
I knew it was going to be several singles. Like I knew from the clips, like I you know, it was a date and show type, you know, thing I seen on Instagram. But I don't know. I just kind of was like, I'm gonna go in and just be me. Okay. But yeah.
Wow.
So I know one of the things, because I know you popped on the page at one point, just because we had put out a video, just because early on, even the portrayal of you was kind of just, it was hard to see exactly, right? So how did that work for you? Because how much of that was your personality? How much of that was they, you know, put clips together?
Okay, so I will say it's definitely my personality. I think what was upsetting about it is that it didn't give a reason. It just seems like I'm just flying off the hinges. You know what I mean? Right. Like even with the last argument that you see, when I said I would slap her, it wasn't like out the blue. I wasn't upset about what she was saying. She had said in the initial argument how she was going to take her mic off and shove it up my ass. So I said, ass, I would love to know what I would be doing because I'll slap the shit out of you. But of course, get that part. So now it looks like I'm really upset about this whole sugar daddy thing when producers know it wasn't that. It was just like she came and she said that, and that was what I was saying. Like, oh, you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that make more sense. Because I was like, hold on. I was like, I felt like you were being very authentic, right? And everything you approach. And I was like, okay. And I feel like people seem more passionate on this season about not being around fake people, which is understandable. But it was just like, okay, what's going on? Like, we done got to another level really quick. And people, everybody's standing up. Like, I was like, and we knew like nothing's going to happen. She's not going to go. And she's being like, you would keep saying, oh, she want to be held back because she don't want that smoke.
Yeah. Listen, my money was on you in that fight. I'm going to just say, my money was on Katie. And I was like, look, I think Katie is sitting in the cut, just kind of like, do what you're going to do. But if you do it, I'm doing something else. So.
I mean, so I said it is me. You know what I mean? Like growing up in school, especially being an immigrant, it was always me trying to find my way. So I'm used to that. But I also haven't, you know, I know that I'm going to go back to the school days. You're going to hit me first because I'm going to get the 3-day suspension. You're going to get the 10. So
right.
Because I don't want a lawsuit. You know, the thing, okay, but I definitely don't want the lawsuit.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So did you ever find like any women that you's like, okay, we're cool, we can connect outside of this experience? Or did you find yourself saying, you know what, the show's over, I got my man, that's all I need?
No, I speak to Jamala a lot. I speak to Dominica a lot. Me and Dominica, even after she was eliminated, we hung out. I speak to them a lot. Looney and I, we haven't hung out because Looney is actually out of town right now as well. She's been there doing some new ventures. And like I said, I don't reside there. So it's like when I do come home, it's like my schedule is like jam-packed type thing.
Okay.
Together. But we speak. I don't have issues with any of the ladies other than Shereese and recently Kayla.
Okay. Now, how did you feel about Kayla saying, hey guys, we need to be portraying ourselves in a better light, blah, blah, blah. We know we always get that as being a dark skin color, African-American, immigrants, whatever. Do you feel like she might have been like just playing that, or
no, this is what irritates me. So what you guys don't understand is the whole Jamala and Randall thing. That was just crazy during that time. And then for her to say that, right, at that time, this is towards the end of filming. I kid you not, less than an hour afterwards, she had those same remarks to say off camera about Jamala. In my ways, like she was just like, oh yeah, because she went up to Randall and she was gonna, whatever, like kiss Randall. I guess Jamal was showing him some affection, and she was like, oh, I would have, I was like, but you just, and I called her out. I said, but you was just on stage talking about. She was like, no, and I feel you and I understand you because I know I'm just like that. That's the type of stuff that throws me off.
Okay.
Right. And I said, I'll slap you bitches. The only reason at that point I said that to Kayla is me and Shereese, we're having our, our differences. She gets, I didn't see the beginning of the last episode, so I don't know how much they put of it. I didn't see the beginning part. I missed the first 15 minutes. But she got up and she said to Shereese, like, oh, I'm not going to let her touch you. So at that point, I'm already, so what are you going to do? How are you not going to let me touch somebody? You know what I mean? It's just like, this is our argument, stay out of it. And that's when I said, I'll slap you. And that's when she goes into this whole black women. And I'm just
So that's why we getting all the eye rolls from the women. Like, really? Now you coming up with this and the cries?
It was only Kayla and Shereese, so that's why no one even said it. I think Jamala even put on her page, like, Katie wasn't talking to any of us. Like, but yeah.
All right. Quick question that came in through the chat. You mentioned that you had invited your line sister to an interview. What organization are you with?
That's all they want to know. No, tell them they're not trying to turn. What are they trying to get on regional? Tell the regional, no president on me. None. I'm not. Look, I'm not
active. Hey, they're just gonna have to let it go.
Hey, or look you up in the directory and see if they can find you there.
If you're in there, they'll find you. So when did you know Swayze was the one, right? So you're dating. Obviously, you might have a couple eyes on a couple of people. When did you feel like, okay?
She's like, no, I didn't have.
No?
Was Swayze the one from the beginning?
No, I wouldn't say that, to be completely honest. So when I first came in, I did, so that's the usual, the typical. And like I said, I will be totally honest. Swayze is what I probably knew that I needed to do, like if I really wanted to settle down. But in my mind, I was like, I don't even online date. I don't answer people from my DMs. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely not taking no one serious from a reality TV show. Like, and what I would really be serious from a show. So when I come in, obviously Zoe was my initial, and he was very tentative to me. So no, it was Zoe the first day in the original part of the day. By the end of the mixer, Swayze and I became flirtatious, and Dominica actually called it out. She was like, "Oh, y'all gonna be together." She called it out, and I was just like, "Oh, okay."
Like, we'll see.
Okay. So when along the process did it start to really, like, you knew something was there with Swayze?
So what happened was we had the mixer on a Sunday, and then after that, I was ready to go. It was late, and I didn't get anyone's number. I left, and I was thinking, okay, but we're gonna see each other in what I think it was the next day or the day after was supposed to be the original brunch.
Okay.
We got the COVID, and we shut down for a week, so. You know what I mean? I didn't have anyone's number. And then we went to the brunch, I believe, that Monday. And we went to the brunch that Monday. It was Jamala has a picture, but I just remember Jamala was here, Zoe was here, I'm in the middle, and Swayze's here. And I'm so awkward because, like I said, I just didn't. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? And Jamala asked him, like, oh, who are you interested in? And he said, her, right there. That's my only person I'm interested in.
Okay.
Changed numbers after or during the brunch, and then we started to talk. And I could just still remember being at my house, like on the couch, like legs up, like you're on the phone, like talking, and time went on, and then we just kept talking. And then funny enough, after the archery date, him and I, Brandy and Mike, we all went out, and it was a wrap after that. So after the day, it was me and him.
Okay.
Nice. You got anything other questions?
Well, so we know that sometimes that there are dates that they set you up on. You don't have to maybe give us the name, but which date where you're like, why are you putting me with this person?
Definitely Justice. That date was a whole bamboozle. That date happened after the Meet the Friends with Swayze.
Okay.
I was very adamant. I was like, I'm done with this show, because he was upset with me, but not about, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but he wasn't upset about the content. More so what we're saying is just that he thought like, hey, you should have stepped in once you seen that I was getting irritated. He was more upset by the lack of me acting, and I am still like, oh, okay, it's a show, we're just doing what the producer said to take red flag. Like, so it was more of his expectations from me than it was about being upset about anything that was said or anything like that. And so once he was like, he wasn't talking to me, he was upset, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm done with the show. It's no point. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so the producers, like, I was like, unless I have a date, I need a date. You know, so they tell me like, yeah, we have a date for you set up. You really want to come today? It's going to be a really good date for you. It was something that, you know, that you need. I'm thinking I have a date with him, but I'm still thinking, but he's not talking to me, but he went to work that day. So I'm like, maybe he didn't go to work. And so I get there and it's Justice. Like, why?
And he says, look, do they pay for the meals? Y'all don't have to pay. Okay.
Yeah, they pay for the meals. We order our food before I get there. They send the menu that you get before you get there. And it wasn't that the date with Justice wasn't bad, actually, because I do think that Justice is very strategic and he understood how to play this game. Terrible, but it was just like, you know, when your mind, I wasn't in it anymore. And so that date was 30 minutes. And so funny, if you listen to other interviews, you'll hear when they say, oh, you're not supposed to be together after the date, they walked you to the car, leave. They knew that we was like this, baby. When we let's walk back to our cars, and then we actually had a nice conversation off camera, and that's when he was like, yeah, see, and I think a lot of the guys, I'm not going to say intimidated, but a lot of the guys understood that, and I think they respect Swayze as a man. So once they realized that me and him were into it, even if they weren't interested, because he said it on that day, he's like, I've been requesting a date with you since day one. I don't know why they never gave it to me, but I see that you're with Swayze anyways, you know, that type of thing.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've heard that. That's been a consistent thing that we've heard when we've done interviews, is that either you're not getting the dates that you want, or even the guy, you know, the couples are, once a couple's really kind of set, everybody else is kind of like, we'll date, but we'll back off as far as deep intention.
Right.
Makes sense.
The dates, like after that blow up, we had a real date on camera. Of course they didn't show it. So you guys came back as viewers confused as how did they go from that to her meeting his friend to them being at the getaway? And it's just like,
yeah, because even the editing last season, be honest, it was worse. This season, it seemed like they could try to put it together a little bit better.
There was a little flow that we could at least pick up on.
Right. But we were like, okay, because even when it came to the end, when you was like, okay, I'm done with the process, and you're at that last brunch, my question is, why did, you know, do you think that Swayze would have called you if you didn't call him?
No. So what happened realistically is that in the episode prior, you remember Tommy asking about a plan, right?
Right.
And I didn't live in Miami. Well, I still don't. I don't live there, and he lived there. So a lot of and I date. I'm a dater. You know what I mean? So I was just like, listen, what are we doing? Because we were spending every day together. I mean, out of the 6 weeks process, I want to say maybe after that first week when we started back from the brunch, I probably would say maybe 3 or 4 days that we didn't spend time with each other. That was. So we went from, I mean, every night waking up, even when we had to film, it was times we went to filming together and get type. So after Tommy asked me to tell him the plan, I'm talking to him and I'm telling him I'm like, yeah, this is what they said. I was like, well, what is your plan? And for him, it was just like, why are you even still asking me that? But it was really just a joke on my end, but still some seriousness within it. And it caused us to like have a disagreement. And so he was like, you know what? I'm done with it. That night he was telling me he done. I'm like, okay, wait, are you like, what are you saying? Are we having this conversation in vain? Because are you done, or are you just done having a moment done?
Right.
You know, as you know, I was supposed to like meet the mom. At this point, I had already met his mom, but we were supposed to meet on camera.
Okay.
And be like, this is the first time. And he was like, yeah, I'm not doing any of this. I'm just like, oh, okay. So we get to the brunch and he doesn't speak to me. I'm like, okay, Mike, we were just on the phone. So I'm like, okay, all right, cool. And like, I remember sitting down. We were sitting like adjacent, like back turned to each other at another table before they moved us over to where you see everything happen, where I was with Kayla and Brandy. And he said something and I said something. He's like, see, I wasn't talking to you. Da, 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 da. And from that point, I was just like, oh, you know what? This is done between me and him. But he says that, funny enough, he always says that. He was like, you were trying to get me before I got you. He was like, you thought I was going to get you. I was never going to do that. But in that moment, I was just like overwhelmed. The process was just overwhelming for us. Mm-hmm. I had already told him, like, listen, when you leave, I leave. Like at the getaway, when they called him up there, I was like, if he leaves, I would have never stayed. Like,
okay.
So I was like sitting there when he leaves. I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? So I was just like, yeah, you know what? Tell me we're done. And even how they edited that made him seem like, oh, so Swayze, what do you want to do? No, I'm done. I'm like, that's his decision. I already said we're done.
Don't give him the upper hand on TV. It's not going to do this. Oh, my gosh. Well, we want to ask our audience if one or two questions, if we want to ask Kadian before we get off, because we were running a little bit behind and we know she has to go. Anyone has a quick question that we can
pop in there real quick.
Pop in real quick. Y'all talk fast. Come on.
Okay.
Nah.
All right. Do you want to tell us what's going on with you and Kayla? Because you said that recently kind of went left.
Okay. Where do I start? Nothing necessarily going on per se. I just feel like she feels like because Jamala and I had a friendship that I was going to be biased, and I wasn't biased. I stayed out of it. It wasn't my place. And as things unfolded with Randall and her and Jamala and all of that stuff or whatever, she actually called me. So this was the first thing. Let me back up. I don't know if this happened. So yeah, this is what happened. The episode was shown about me sitting on the couch and I'm like, you're like a side chick. That was not a dig at Kayla. It was really more like, it was really like, you're really trying to play up under Kayla, but you acting like you're going to be all invested in Brandy. Like, you know, so, and it was more conversation to that. And on top of that, I felt some type of, she ended up responding on Twitter saying, if you're 5 and you don't have kids and you're not married, you're washed up and belly hanging over. Like she made a rant on Twitter. And I didn't know if it was about me, Brandy. I asked her about it. Of course, she was just like nothing. And then I realized that she was speaking about me or Brandy or both of us or just me. I don't know, but I know I was definitely within that equation.
Yeah.
Like saying like, oh, I'm the only one out of the girls who's been engaged. No, baby, I've been engaged more than once and I've turned them down. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait, we're still at the same place now. And so that kind of started something. And then it was a episode, she seen Swayze. They were at like a watch party and she asked to contact me. And she asked him for me to contact her or whatever. And I asked her about something that she posted. I was like, hey, you know, like, hey, go ahead and throw your shade. I'm okay with it because I get how it was put out there. And I'm okay with you defending yourself because I said that. I'll take that accountability that I said the whole side chick thing, even though you were there, even though that's not how it was said, even though you remember the producers being right in front of us saying, ask him who his top connection is, like on the phone, like, you know, like this type thing. I was like, I'll let you have that or whatever. So she's talking to me about other situations pertaining to her connections and things like that. And I left it alone. Then when the episode came on and it said, oh, I'll slap you, da, 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 or I'll beat all these bitches, she posted and she's like, oh, people get really bold when the cameras are rolling. Oh, baby, I'm bold all the time.
Right.
Like, what is your problem? You literally just wrote me and said that me and you are cool as no beef because, you know, like she already put on her the thing. She's dating someone new and the person who she's dating is friends with the guy I'm dating. So she's like, you know, like good or whatever. So I'm like, hey, so why are you even putting that in there when you knew the cause and everything like that? So yeah, I took that as like, you know what, I'm done. This is the fake stuff that I'm talking about. I'm over it. I'm done with it. So yeah, I just politely told her off on Instagram, and I seen that she did the same thing that she did. After that, she's posting her body. I'm like, listen, baby, I could get my body tucked, fixed, whatever I need to do. Like whatever you're doing, you're 31, I'm 35. I'm only, even during filming, I was only like 15 pounds over my actual weight that I am right now when I lost weight. So I'm like, what you're doing don't even faze me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that came from.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And you look good because I could tell. I was like, I think she lost a little bit of weight. I was like, oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, because we were watching your Instagram. We were like, oh, there's not even any suspense to this. We know that her and Swayze are together because you were posting y'all, well, you know what, 3-4 weeks before the show ended.
Well, no, I was posting it before that. What happened?
We saw it. That's when we saw it.
Yeah, I was posting him before the show even aired, and we didn't know that they were gonna put out the trailer. Look, he can't get it. We didn't know that they were gonna put out the trailer, and he came to a party that I had July 4th, and that's when he posted something, and a lot of the blogs picked it up off his page, but it was TikTok, but I'm not active on TikTok. I had just made it. But you know, when he posted, it had my TikTok name on there. And so that's how all of that became. And then once we realized that they're not going to tell our story anyways, like they're not going to tell their story. Honestly, you didn't pay me that much. And baby, have your lawyers call my lawyers. So they did call me after everything, like weeks in, they called me asking me to take it down. And I asked them to let me know what part of your contract says it. I said, I'm not giving the ending away because I did it. I was the way that we chose each other. So of course, I never got that call back, and we haven't had an issue with production.
Okay.
The true boss lady. Hey. She's like, look, show me. I need to see what I signed again. Okay. Well, I don't see anything because I think you've answered that question.
Yeah, you did answer who you were friends with as far as the ladies. What now? We know, because I did watch on you had a story out a little while back about a little before, I think it was in between Reunion Special 1 and 2, about you and Shereese. And I know that you kind of put some your text messages and things. So talk to us about, because it looks like you guys had a friendship at the beginning that started to go south, and we saw, of course, you know, towards the end, as far as especially at the reunion. But kind of walk us through that real quick.
Okay. No, that was great. So what happened was, originally, to be quite honest, at the mixer, I clicked with Trinika because when I was matching, not on purpose, and she's like, I'm gonna be your bridesmaid. So even when they asked like, what ladies, I was like, okay, Trinika. Me and Brandy, we actually got fully nude in front of each other, changing, trying to switch out outfits when we had to do our second outfit. So I named Brandy and I named Jamala. I was like, yeah, Jamala is my island girl. Because when we had our lunch break, we talked and ate together. And I said Dominica, of course, because we did click during that night and everything like that. So those were the people that I was connecting with. Shereese was very standoffish. What people don't know is like when she got called to the end, and this is what I mean when people are so strategic. When she got called down for eliminations that night, she waited until after the cameras were rolling and she lost it. She's like, I used to date a high value man. I can't believe that I was on the bottom. Da, 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 right? So it's so funny how she wants to throw the role of sugar daddy. All I was saying in that whole stance, just to fast forward, is the conversation happened. Shereese called. I can still remember it. She called. She said that she was going to Zara to go get some stuff and asked me what I was doing. I said a friend came in town, but I was originally planned to go out of the country before I finalized the show. So I had friends in town, guys and girls, and we always, whenever we're flying out of Miami, we'll just get a hotel because we're from Fort Lauderdale. So that's like a 30-minute commute. But then when you deal with morning traffic, I mean, that ends up being a whole massacre. So we get a hotel and then we'll just leave from Miami Airport. So we had a hotel down there and we were hanging out. And she says, I said, I'm in Wynwood. I'm hanging out with a friend. Come out or whatever. She's like, that we're not supposed to, but I want to. And I was like, she's like, I would just have to go home and change. I said, girl, this old man is not worried about what you have on. And like, if you come, you're good. It's not like you have to pay for anything.
Right.
Conversation. She took that and that into me having a sugar daddy. Even if I had one, I wouldn't call it that. Any person I've dealt with, I've had respect for. I'm past that in life to where I would actively deal with someone that I can't even tolerate their presence. I'm not 20 years old struggling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm own, so I'm not dealing with a sugar daddy where I'm like, oh my God, I just don't even want to touch him. Touch me. That's not me. So that's all. But of course, they never even showed that explanation on the show. They just make it still seem like I'm mad at her for saying, or she's lying. No, you called me. That's how that happened.
Okay.
Let's answer the actual question. Yes, Shereese was not on my radar because just how she is. Like, we're similar, as in, like, we like nice things. We both have a fiery personality. We're both boss ladies, but I am not as judgmental as she is. Just certain things about we end up starting to talk or whatever the case may be. We were talking to each other. She asked me for my number at brunch. She took my phone. It's like, girl, let me get your number because we're going to text. Da, 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 da. She knew since the Sunday after the brunch, we did the beach scene. Her, Swayze, and I and one of her friends actually went out. We hung out that night. That's when she told us about the whole Mike date, the whole Mike incident. When she was telling us about the Mike incident, it was her friend that she was telling her friend about the Mike page, his Instagram. About they had the date and how he basically came at her, whatever. In her defense, I don't know how he came at her, but I will say this. They're not going to paint the men to be terrible on the show because they know that us as Black women, we're not as forgiving. We're going to tear each other down all the time. So you don't see whatever happened between her and him from his standpoint, with him feel bad. So she's like, yeah, I felt attacked. I cried. I was going to call my dad. Da, 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 da. I realized this is something for real, so I don't want to speak on it. I said, you know what? If it happened on camera, that means production was there. But in my mind, I'm like, if production was there and it was that crazy, they're not going to let that happen. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
This in your face, I'm pretty sure they didn't just let that happen.
Right.
Like, if it is, then have a conversation with production on camera, whatever. So then she turns to us, me and Swayze. Swayze's sitting on this side and she's here. He keep bumping the table. And she's like, see, you guys want to shut me down. Something, I can't even remember. But basically, it's like we wanted to shut her down. We asked her what was going on. And now all of a sudden, we're not letting her talk about it. And I'm like, Swayze's like, wait, I didn't ask you anything. And I'm like, I didn't ask you anything either. You brought Mike up because you were showing your friend his Instagram. So we asked her friend. And her friend's like, no, we're only talking about him because you showed me his Instagram. Even her friend agreed, right? At that point, I swear, Swayze's sitting right here. Like, I knew I had to go. I lied. I said, I'm leaving to go to Tampa because they knew I would travel. Like, I had to go to work sometimes and I was going to do a store in Tampa. I said, I have to get on the road. I'm going to Tampa. As soon as we left, I texted Swayze. I'm like, hey, where are we going to meet at? Because I just can't hang with her anymore because I started to see just like she is very needy. It's definitely given that only child syndrome that I don't even know how to, like, I'm not a psychologist. It was given I don't want any parts of it. But we continue. I let it go, and I was just like, maybe I was thinking too much, and it was just always something with her and I. That's why at the dinner, she was like, we argue and fight like sisters. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing. So when you see me saying, oh, you can't play victim, it had nothing to do with Zoe. It had something to do with that conversation because she had nothing to do with Zoe. But at this point, I'm like, listen, I done seen you do this to me. I done seen you do this. And even the whole Shakira thing, I didn't even care about whatever. No one knew, as you see, what Shakira went through. It was stuff that she alluded to. So when I sit down and Jamala and Mark are having that conversation, And Shakira said she's leaving. I said, Mike is like, no. And I said, no, let her go. But of course, they don't show him saying, no, sit down. And then she's still trying to leave. And I say, no, Mike, let her go. And I can understand why she would probably want to get up. Maybe her situation, if she do want to speak about something like that, maybe she could give you insight. Because I was telling him, like, as a Black man, be careful about the things that you do, because it could mess up your whole reputation.
Right.
You know, like that. That was a conversation I was having. Like, I was like, but I know that you're not that crazy to be rah-rah in someone's face on national. But of course, they didn't even show all of that. That was me trying to just say, hey, I don't know what you and Shereese conversation had, but that was after Shakira left. And that turned out to be one thing. So that's where the downhill of our relationship came. And then the whole Swayze thing, it was just like, what are you doing? Like, at first when she was in like the lounge and saying like Swayze was her connection, I thought it was just because like it was like an unspoken pact, like you keep Swayze in, I'm gonna keep Samson in, like that type of thing. But it was real life, and that's what happened. Like when we were at the mayor party, she came over to his mom and said that they're secret lovers in his so what? Like, yeah, this is real life, and this is July. This is when we're full, like, in a relationship. I have text messages where this girl is like, I hooked you guys up, Swayze. I'm not Auntie Shereese, because he used to call her Auntie Shereese. So let's be clear, it was never a connection, okay? And Auntie Shereese, can I be Sis Shereese or something like that? Your mom just... And 404. So it was like things like that. I'm like, why would she say that? Like, that's crazy. So it went from that to, as you see on the reunion, Tommy says, who was it hard for you not to lust over? And you say Swayze. Girl, so it was hard. And then when I approached her about the whole mom thing, she's like, Swayze's like a brother to me. So are you lusting over your brother?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's those type of things. Even recently, what's today? Sunday, Monday? I want to say Thursday. Saturday, she texted me out the blue. Hey, can you send me those pictures? We have not spoken to each other. Why are you texting me? I said, hey, who is this? Like, I said, hey, who is this? Because I'm like, I know it's her. The number saved in my phone, but I just want to make sure that she understands. She was like, it's Shereese. I was like, oh, well, the best thing for you to do is to text me and apologize and whole thing. And then I was like, I don't know, I don't understand your motive, I don't understand your intentions. What is it, babe? The interview isn't live, that's why. Sorry, my phone is thingy. Sorry, but so yeah, so we go into this whole, it's just that with her, like that type of stuff that I don't understand. I'm never going to understand. Like, so when people say we're similar, yeah, we're similar, we like nice things, we're similar, fiery attitude and personalities, but that fake stuff is like I can't.
Yeah. And I can't see you being, you're not similar. You know, when we're talking about, I feel like you're more authentic and passionate about whatever the issue is. And so you're dealing with the issue. With her, she just came across like
fake.
Right.
That's what I've been calling her since like week 2. I think, and let me know if I'm even in the ballpark with this. I think that after who was it, Devin left, because that seemed to be her first connection as far as what we saw. I think she kind of scrambled and found somebody else to kind of keep staying in the show.
Yeah. And I don't care what anyone wants to say. I will say if it was 20 of us that started this, 2 obviously don't count because, you know, so we were left with 18. And then Dominica left way too fast. It's like I said, we shut down. So when you see Dominica at the thing, it wasn't like it was a week later. It was really technically just the second day of filming. The reality is it was egos and no one wanted to be eliminated. You know what I mean? And everybody you do get paid more for every episode that you're on. So all this, oh, I wasn't going to leave because of this. No, everyone wanted to stay on. And I think it was one of those things. She complained the entire time about Samson. And even when we got into conversation more about men, the only reason we talked about it is because I was trying to talk her through. She did not like him like that. She knew that. She would continually say he's not her type or certain things or talk certain things. And I was like, you know what, Shereese, this is something different, something new. he's older and he's retired, so clearly he's established. So if he doesn't dress nice or if he don't do this, that's okay. That's more money for you to spend on him. And I'm like, we're women. We could buy things for men. You can dress them and make them. I mean, the hard part is over. If he's a nice guy, he's respectful, he don't have kids, he want to have kids, you know, whatever. And that's how come I said we dated people that spent money on us. We dated that type of stuff. We dated guys where we're going into, that was the conversation. So she just wanted to put that on me, but it's like, baby, we both have lived that life. Let's be
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then even that whole argument that happened between us, that only happened because that's what I'm saying, like how production painted me. Funny enough, at the dinner, Shereese stood up when Tommy had everybody stood up. Well, not everyone, because I was done with it after Shakira, so I didn't say anything about anyone. She says, and Kayla, you are very sexual. Now, this is before the whole getaway. Let's be clear, right? And she says that. But of course, I feel like they weren't going to play a lot of what Shereese did because they couldn't put that personality with Samson, because Samson, a guy how you painted him of his caliber, wouldn't deal with someone like Shereese if you really painted her to be the she was doing and things that she was doing. So of course it's easier, and I can take it. My personality is dominant, so I can take it. I see why we had to do psych tests, because imagine if I couldn't take it, I'll probably be
right.
And so she said that to Kayla. So of course when we screen or whatever, and I have the messages in here, I was messing with her and Swayze in a group message. We all would be in a group message with her and Swayze, and I was like, yeah, like I'm done, I eliminate myself or whatever. So I had green screens. In the green screen after the dinner, they asked me about, because I was sitting at the table with Kayla, like, oh, what were you thinking? Like, what's going through your head when Shereese said that? And I was just like, you know, Shereese didn't mean it like that. I was like, Shereese is just the type of friend that if you're eating a watermelon, she may say, you know, like, she may see somebody, you get sick from eating a watermelon. She may be walking down the street and see someone else eating a watermelon and be like, you better be careful. My friend Kay just got sick from eating a watermelon. And I was like, she don't mean anything by it. So fast forward, I come down from finishing my green screen. I see her. She's like, I can't believe you lied to me. I thought you said you were done. And I was like, girl, I'm just messing with you. You know, we arch enemies or whatever. What did they ask you in green screen? And I said, oh, funny enough, they did ask me about you and the comment that you made. And she's like, yeah, she is very, you know, whatever she said. I don't even, but she did say things, for, you know, alluding to whatever. So boom, she goes, she does her green screen. I leave and I'm with Swayze. And he gets a phone call. It's her. So he's like, I'm not going to answer. I'm like, no, answer the phone. Put her on speaker. And so it's her. I can't stand that bitch. He's like, who are you talking about? Your girlfriend. And so from there, she goes into, we're going to the getaway and I'm going to bring my facial stuff and I'm going to do a facial on you. Don't tell nobody. I've already told the producers I'm going to do it. So I'm like, okay, this is out of the line. Because if we're in group messages, supposed to be cordial with each other. You're calling me sister. Like you've been out with us in real life. Nothing between you and him. Help me understand what is going on at this point. So I told him, no, I'm calling. He's like, no, don't call. I don't want to be in the drama. I should have never answered the phone. So I call her. She don't answer. She texts. Hey, getting a mani and pedi. What's up? I'm like, nah, this is a conversation. So by the time she called me that night, I'm already simmered down. Me and him like, what? Let's just play this game. It's a game. If she want to play a game, let's play the game. I'm like, okay, cool. And that's how come I text her. Like I had my dog, and I was just like, hey, like your dog ever threw up? And she's like, yeah, they probably ate something trying to get it out the system. And I was like, yeah, no problem. See you at the getaway. And I'm like, you know, if anything during the process, we have each other. I'm really trying to play her game. Like you want to play your game 1 minute, act like you're my friend. Next minute, you're calling the guy that I'm connecting with. I don't know what you were doing. And so, yeah, I did send her that message. Absolutely fake. And I don't know if she told the producers like her and Kay are better. I don't know what happened. It's so funny that the next day after we have a date and Mike is asking about friendships. I'm like, no, I'm not friends with anyone here. And I'm not. I'm still not friends. I wouldn't call it. It doesn't matter how close I am with Jamala, even Dominica, we're not at a friendship level. You know what I mean?
Right.
We are not necessarily calling each other about things not pertaining to the show. Even if we are, it stems from the show. And then we'll probably talk about other things. You know what I mean? So that's how that happened. And then as soon as she seen that Mike was trying to lay it on me, she thought it was opportunity. And I'm just like, listen, wait a minute, what are you, da, da, da. And then it started this. She started calling me fake. I wear fake weave. I'm like, you wear fake weave. She's like, this is my hair. I'm like, you have micro links, baby. That's weave. But it's the illusion that lives in her head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Wusa.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Like that's
all right. So we're gonna get ready to let you go here. But what's next for you, and how are things going with Swayze? I know we know you're about to head out, but how are things with Swayze, and what's next for you?
I'm just back to my normal life. Like, this is not something I plan on doing at all again. So what's next is just regular life. And Swayze and we're good. We're working through everything. He's here.
Tell Swayze he can at least wave to us.
He here. He right here.
Hey,
what up, bro?
What's up? Looking good.
It's been good watching you all story. Definitely wanted to kind of converse and just chop it up with you all for a little bit.
Yeah, we've been married 26 years. And like you've been saying over and over again, communicating, just keep communicating. And the more you do that, bad times, good times, you can get over anything if you understand that the person beside you, they want the best for you.
Yeah.
So we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
We love seeing Black love.
And if you need somebody to come down and do your wedding, we can do that too.
Wait, what do you guys? Oh, you like officiate?
We're pastors here in Phoenix, so we pastor a church too. So.
Oh, nice. Cool. Oh my God, and I was cursing. I'm so sorry.
We're fine.
No judgment here.
Not at all.
This is a conversation with the Crawleys. This is us being real, authentic people who love seeing real, authentic people.
Absolutely. So, listen, we appreciate you stopping by. Let us know if you need anything from us or anything that, maybe we maybe connect on another video or something like that. But definitely appreciate you stopping by. It was good to watch your story. Yes. And we wish you all both the best.
Yes. Blessings to you.
Oh, in Jamaica. That's where we're getting married, in Jamaica.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sounds good.
Destination wedding. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate, and for everyone that's watching, we appreciate you all watching, and we will see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.